Following trials with offside in 1997, the then Hockey Rules Board, now called the FIH Rules Committee, decided to introduce a mandatory experiment under which offside was withdrawn. In making this announcement, they said that it was expected that the balance of influence will swing from defenders to attackers. What that meant was tremendous advantage would be given to attackers and that defenders would be disadvantaged as a result of this change. There were several other declared expectations. One was that the fundamental pattern of play would be retained. How it could be retained when there was no offside, and defenders would have to adjust tactics accordingly, is a mystery. It is also mysterious why they expected the game to flow more, or that there would be less congestion in and around the circles and fewer stoppages. This was in fact just flim-flam to promote the idea that of deletion of offside, which they had decided to go ahead with. But the prior statement was, to prevent opponents from behaving in a potentially dangerous manner, their conduct near the goal will be subject to constraints, without mentioning what those constraints might be. In 1998, that is 30 years ago, we had the acceptance into full rule of the deletion of offside, the declaration that there had been significant improvements to the game with fewer offences and more goals. It was certainly easier to umpire the game with no offside to look for, but whether or not there were fewer offences is extremely debatable. But the new advantage donated to attacking had resulted in more goals. The alteration to the conduct of play within the 25-yard, 23-metre area, which was not well received, because it put attacking teams at a disadvantage, was the requirement that same team players be 5 metres from the ball. It is ironic that this 5-metre requirement on same team players in the 23-metre area was reintroduced many years later. The past lessons were not learned, they were just forgotten. This notice of rule changes made absolutely no reference at all to the constraints which had been mentioned in 1997. These too were simply forgotten. In fact, rather than having constraints placed on attackers to reduce the potential for dangerous play, there has been an expansion of what is permitted to an attacker when playing the ball. For example, the prohibition on playing at the ball at above shoulder height was deleted, and some weird and dangerous ideas appeared in umpiring practice concerning the taking of a shot at the goal.
Lots of attack at both ends, into a body, penalty corner, and that's the right decision because the player was stopping a shot on goal. That's a beautiful move too, look. Great deflection, up into the body. If it hadn't been going towards the goal, it would have been a free hit to the defender for dangerous play. But because it was a shot on goal, if you're in the way, it's your bad luck in this game.
Unable to use offside as a tactic, defenders were forced to defend goal side of their opponents, and they were punished for doing this. This lunatic invention, despite having no rule support whatsoever, became standard umpiring practice. In this incident, 2 occurrences of dangerous play by the attacking side resulted in the award of a penalty corner against the defending side. This foul, an intentionally raised hit which was not a shot at the goal, was ignored. Here a hit is raised into a defender from point blank range and well above knee height, but the umpire possibly didn't see the height of the ball. Video referral confirmed the decision of penalty corner. Amazing. There are clearly no constraints being applied to the attackers here. Even the dangerous play rule is ignored. The potential for danger is much more clear in this invention. The close-in deflected ball passed wide of the goal. I don't like to see this kind of circumvention of the dangerous play rules at a penalty corner, or the third-party obstruction to prevent the interception of the pass. If that had been at the defender, he would have had no chance at all of getting out of the way of it.
Shivendra puts the ball across. Oh, it's a green card, which is a 2-minute suspension. Looks as though it's Steve Edwards.
This is a ridiculous decision by the umpire. That mishit ball was raised up into the New Zealand player from about 2 metres. That's dangerous play. The umpire could only give a green card for that contact if he thought it was deliberate. In the circumstances, that thinking is absurd. A green card for the attacker for the raised hit that was not a shot at the goal would have been far more appropriate.